Welcome! This video will give a basic introduction to the Model Debugger in HLArtist. The content also applies to RSA-RTE. The Model Debugger is a high-level debugger using the HLArtist's Target Runtime System, or Target RTS for short. I will be using the traffic lights example that is included in the installation. First, close the welcome page and open the UML development perspective. Next, create a new model project. Give the project a name. Select the Traffic Light C++ model from the templates list and click Finish to create the project and the model. Wait for the project and the model to be created. Expand the model Traffic Light component and also expand the Transformation Configuration folder. Double-click on the Transformation Configuration, or TC for short, to open the editor. In the editor, click on the Target Configuration tab to select the Target RTS configuration. That should match the compiler and operating system that is being used. Then select the make type that is used. Save the model and close the TC editor. Next step is to build the application using the installed C++ compiler. Right-click on the TC and select Build. Click on the Build button in the dialog that pops up. Wait for the build to complete. A new CDT project will be added in the Project Explorer. There are several ways to start the executable, and I will show 3 different ways. First way, using the Windows command prompt. Right-click on the executable.exe and select Properties. In the dialog, select and copy the full path to the executable. And close the dialog. Click on Windows Start menu and type CMD, then press Enter to start the command prompt. Paste the location of the executable. Append the flag -urts_debug = quit. This will start the executable without the possibility to connect the model debugger. Close the command prompt. Now I will show how the executable can be started using the Eclipse local terminal. Right-click on the executable and select Show in local terminal, and then Terminal. This will open a terminal view in the executable's location. Type dir to see the files. Now start the executable with the flag -obslisten = 12345. This is the port the application will listen for the model debugger to connect. The execution of the application is suspended. Next step is to connect the model debugger. Right-click on the TC, select Debug as Remote Real-Time Application. In the dialog, edit the port number to match the obslisten port number. Confirm the perspective switch and also select Remember my decision. In the debug perspective, start by showing View Terminal so that this view is visible when debugging. The view can be dragged and dropped to another location in the perspective. Expand the node that says Suspended. Right-click on Traffic Light Capsule and open State Instance Diagram. This diagram will animate as the application is executed by highlighting the active state. Continue to expand the tree to see the ports. Show the view events. Right-click on the control port. Select Populate Event View. This will add the available events in the event view. Now resume the execution. The application will change from suspended to running. In the state instance diagram, the state red is highlighted, and in the terminal view, Traffic Light Startup is printed. The application does not do anything further on its own, but we can inject events to test the behavior of the capsule. To inject an event, drag and drop the event from the event view onto the port. Once an event has been injected to a port, it is possible to just double-click on the event to inject it again to the same port. Now suspend the execution. Inject green and yellow events. Note that the state instance diagram is not updated. Right-click on green state and toggle breakpoint. Note the breakpoint decoration next to the state. Resume the execution. Note that the green state is now active because of the events that were injected before. Also note that the execution is again suspended because of the breakpoint. Resume the execution once again and note that the yellow state becomes active because of the event that was injected before. Terminate the execution and also close the terminal view. Change back to the UML development perspective. I will add a variable to the traffic light capsule to show that variables can also be inspected. Right-click on the capsule and select Add UML attribute. Name the attribute foo. Give it type int and an initial value of 1. Save the model and build. This time I will start using debug as real-time application. Since the application was launched a different way this time compared to the last, the state instance diagram must be opened again. It is also possible to trace the execution. Right-click on the suspended node and select Create Trace. Click OK on the dialog. Leave the setting as is to capture the trace from all elements. Change to the Trace tab. Resume the execution and note how the trace is updated with the capsule incarnation and active state. Inject the green event. The execution is suspended because of the breakpoint we set in the last session. Change to the Variables tab. Here we can inspect the value of the variable and also edit the value. Resume the execution. Inject a few more events and note how the trace is updated. The trace also includes a filter option. That was everything for this model debugger introduction. Thank you.